Hello everyone. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for wanting to divorce my husband after he left our newborn and toddler with our teenage daughter while he went out with another woman? I feel like I need some outside perspective on a really tough situation. My husband and I have been married for 19 years, and we have 3 kids together, a 13-year-old daughter, a 2-year-old, and a newborn. Our journey to parenthood wasn't easy. We faced a lot of fertility struggles, and my husband has been my rock through it all. That's why this situation has hit me so hard. Recently, I started thinking about divorce after I realized my husband had left our young children alone at home while he went out on what appears to be a date with another woman. It's been difficult for me to process everything, and I'm still unsure if I'm overreacting. His parents seem to think it was just a mild mistake, but I honestly find that hard to swallow. A couple of days ago, I decided to take a much-needed me day. I told my husband how I felt, and he agreed I could go out for a bit. I went out with my mom and sister for lunch, a mini shopping spree, and we even got our nails done. It was lovely to have some time to unwind. I left the house around 1 p.m., planning to be back around 6 p.m. My husband was supposed to be at home with the kids since we didn't have anyone to babysit on short notice. While I was out, I received notifications from our Ring camera. Around 5:50 p.m., I saw something was happening at the front door. I called my husband, who assured me everything was fine and that he was just picking up pizza. I thought nothing of it, knowing he was with the kids. Fast forward to around 6 p.m. when I got another notification that he was back home. Due to the long wait at the nail salon and bad traffic, I didn't arrive home until about 8 p.m. When I got inside, I immediately noticed something was off. My husband's car was gone. I walked into the house to find my toddler playing with spit, and my newborn was crying uncontrollably. My teenage daughter was in tears because she couldn't calm the baby down. I quickly took the baby, changed her, fed her, and got her to bed, checking in with my daughter to see what happened. She told me she didn't know where her dad was, but that he had told her to watch the kids because he had something important to do. I comforted her and reassured her that it was a big task for her to handle alone. I felt awful she had been put in that situation. My husband finally came home around 10 p.m., looking somewhat drunk. When I asked where he had been, he casually claimed he was with his wife and having a good time. It felt like a slap in the face. He took off his pants and acted as if everything was normal, completely dismissing what had just happened. The next day, when I confronted him about his absence, he lied and said he fell asleep at 7:35 p.m. I was furious and called him out for being dishonest, insisting I knew he had been out with another woman. I reached out to my mother-in-law and my own mom for advice, trying to gain some perspective. My MIL minimized it, saying it was a common mistake for men and that I needed to move on for the kids' sake. You know, they need their father at home. I've been doing a lot of soul-searching since that day. Part of me wants to fight for our marriage, to believe we can work through this rough patch. However, another part of me is devastated and feels that I deserve better. I think about filing for divorce, seeking child support, and pursuing full custody of the kids so I can provide them with a stable environment. So here I am, wondering if I'm being the asshole for even considering divorce. Am I overreacting? Should I be more forgiving because of our history? Or am I justified in wanting to leave this relationship for the happiness and safety of myself and my children? Am I the bad person? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for filing divorce and move out from my kids so that I don't get to see them every day? I, 46M, have been married to her, 41F, for almost 10 years. We have 2 kids, 9 and 7. Every summer her parents fly her and our kids back to PA for a week-long visit. 2 summers ago when she came back, I realized she was distant and wasn't being affectionate with me, let alone intimate very often. After we were intimate, I got a yeast infection. I went to the doctor and fixed it, but the next summer, same thing. Back to the doctor for fungal cream. I have many suspicions at this point. We weren't intimate for months and we talked about going to therapy to deal with our issues. She said she had some things she needed to tell me, but not without a therapist. I started looking. Then one morning a few weeks ago, she gave me her phone and asked me to load up her Universal Studios tickets so she could take the kids. I had just woken up, and while loading the tickets, her Instagram was there and I looked at her messages. She was in a very explicit conversation with a man she knew from PA. They talked about sexual acts they had had, and what she wanted to do to him next time she was there. She said in one of the messages, "If I come home, you have to love me forever. I'm not going to sneak around." I guess she wasn't loving me because she was loving him. I did take pictures of the messages and went to work in a whirlwind. I left work early that day and met up with my best friend to tell him what I found. After a few drinks and lots of crying, I went home and told her to come outside away from the kids. When she got outside, she said, "What's wrong?" I said, "You know, don't you?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Well, our marriage is over and I don't want to talk about any of it from here on out unless it's in court for a divorce." She said, "Fine." Since then, she has moved out to the living room and has not talked to me except when it comes to the kids. Neither of us can afford to move, so we talked about cohabitating for the sake of the kids. But I don't know if I can do it. She is obviously still talking to him. When I asked her if she cut it off, she told me it's no longer any of my business. All our finances are in my name, including a load of debt and a new car I just bought for her. There is no way she can afford to keep up with her share, as I was covering for her lack of income with mine. My credit is good, and it took a lot of time to get it that way, but I'm certain it's just a matter of time before she stops paying for her share of the bills we had together. She has already told me she won't be able to pay for things. I tried to make an agreement for the bills with shares and due dates, but she refused to sign it. Am I the bad person if I file divorce and move out from my kids so that I don't get to see them every day? Even the thought of it makes me ill. They have no idea anything is going on at this point. What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for breaking up with my boyfriend because he went on a bachelor's trip and spent all day with girls without telling me? I, 24F, broke up with my boyfriend, 30M, over something that happened during his bachelor's trip. Before he left, we had a conversation about open communication, especially since I knew he would be talking to women and possibly partying. I told him I just wanted to be kept in the loop if he was heading out to clubs or hanging out with girls. I wasn't expecting him to be glued to his phone 24/7, just basic updates. The first night, everything went as planned. They went to dinner in the club, and he kept in touch with me, which I appreciated. But then, the next day, they went to a sandbar, and he started taking hours to respond to me. His replies were short, and when I asked if there were any girls with them, he ignored that part completely. 2 hours went by with no response, and I saw he was back at the Airbnb. He said he was in the pool but didn't give much else. Later that night, when we resumed talking, I asked again if there were girls there, and he finally admitted that he spent the whole day with a group of bachelor girls he met at the bar, and they all went back to the Airbnb to swim. I told him I was upset because he had all day to tell me, and I shouldn't have had to ask. He brushed it off, saying I was being crazy and controlling for making a big deal out of nothing. The more I tried to explain that it wasn't about him hanging out with girls, but about the lack of communication and transparency, the more he attacked me, calling me paranoid. At that point, I ended things right there. Now, I'm questioning if I was too controlling or if I had a right to be upset. We had agreed on certain boundaries before he left, and I felt like he completely disregarded them. Am I the bad person? Can't wrap my head around that story. What do you think? Who is in the wrong there? Let us know down in the comments section, and let's move on to our last case. Case 4. Am I the bad person for walking out of my own birthday dinner because my girlfriend turned it into her celebration? So my 25M birthday was last weekend. I don't usually do anything big, but this year a bunch of my friends were in town, and my girlfriend, 23F, offered to plan something. I was genuinely excited. She made a dinner reservation at a nice place I've been wanting to try and said she had a little surprise planned. The surprise was that she invited a bunch of her friends. Like, 6 of them. People I barely know. One of them I actively dislike because she used to hit on me when my girlfriend and I first started dating. My girlfriend brushed it off, saying it would make things more fun and lively. Whatever. I tried to roll with it. But then at the dinner, it just got worse. She spent the entire time talking to her friends. I was seated at the far end of the table next to 2 people I'd never met. She didn't even sit next to me. When the food came, they all toasted her for organizing everything and started talking about her upcoming promotion. Her best friend gave a speech about how she deserves all the happiness in the world. Not one mention of me or my birthday. No cake, no toast, no happy birthday. Nothing. I literally just sat there while everyone gushed over her for 2 hours. Eventually I got up, paid for my portion of the meal, said I wasn't feeling well, and left. I didn't make a scene or yell. I just quietly left. Later she texted me saying I embarrassed her in front of her friends and ruined the night. She said she tried really hard to make it special and I was being ungrateful. A few of her friends have messaged me saying I was being immature and that it wasn't that deep. But I don't know, man. Is it crazy to think my birthday should have been at least a little about me? Am I the bad person? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.